I bought my own house after everyone betrayed me. Now my sister, ex-wife, and parents are furious. I refuse to let them back in. 3 years ago, I lost my job at the warehouse when they shut down our whole department. I had been working there for 8 years, and suddenly I was unemployed with a mortgage, car payments, and no savings because my ex-wife Jennifer had maxed out our credit cards on shopping sprees. I went to my parents first, asking if I could stay in their guest room for a few months while I figured things out. My dad looked me right in the eye and said they couldn't afford to help me. This was coming from people who had just bought a brand new RV and were planning a 2-month road trip across the country. My mom chimed in saying I needed to learn to stand on my own 2 feet at 35 years old. They suggested I try the homeless shelter downtown if things got really bad. Next, I called my sister Amy. We had always been close growing up, and she made decent money as a nurse. She told me her husband Mike didn't want any house guests and that I should ask Jennifer for help since we were still married. Here's the thing about Jennifer. She had already filed for divorce and moved in with her new boyfriend, some guy she met at her yoga class. When I asked if I could crash on her couch until I found work, she laughed and said her boyfriend wouldn't appreciate having her loser ex-husband around. So there I was, completely alone. I ended up sleeping in my car for 2 weeks until I found a tiny studio apartment above a gas station. The place was gross. Stained carpet, broken windows, and mice everywhere. But it was cheap, and I was desperate. I worked 3 part-time jobs just to pay rent and eat. I delivered pizzas during the day, stocked shelves at night, and did yard work on weekends. Every single day was a struggle, but I was determined not to give up. During this whole time, not one family member called to check on me. Jennifer was posting pictures on Facebook of fancy dinners and weekend trips with her new boyfriend. My parents were sharing photos from their RV adventure. Amy was showing off her family's vacation to Disney World. Meanwhile, I was eating ramen noodles and wearing the same 3 shirts over and over because I couldn't afford new clothes. But here's where things changed. One of the houses I did yard work for belonged to this older guy named Frank who owned a small construction company. He noticed I always showed up on time and did good work, so he offered me a full-time job. Within 6 months, I was making more money than I ever had at the warehouse. Frank taught me carpentry, plumbing, and electrical work. I was learning skills that actually mattered and building something real. I saved every penny for 2 years. No eating out, no new clothes, no entertainment, just work and save, work and save. I wanted to prove to myself that I didn't need anyone else. Last month, I bought a beautiful 3-bedroom house in the nice part of town. It has a big backyard, updated kitchen, and a 2-car garage. I paid cash for the whole thing. The day I posted a picture of my new house on social media, my phone started blowing up. My parents suddenly wanted to visit and see how I was doing. Amy called crying about how she missed me and wanted to bring her kids over for a barbecue. The best one was Jennifer. She actually showed up at my front door with tears in her eyes, saying she had made a terrible mistake and wanted to work things out. Apparently, her yoga boyfriend had dumped her for someone younger, and she was struggling to pay her rent. My dad called me and said they were proud of how I had turned my life around and wanted to celebrate with me. He mentioned they were thinking of selling their RV and could use a place to park it temporarily. I looked at each one of them and said the same thing. You had your chance to help me when I had nothing. You chose to turn your backs on me when I needed you most. Now that I'm successful, you want back in my life? Not happening. Jennifer begged and said families should forgive each other. I reminded her that she divorced me and called me a loser. My parents said I was being petty and holding grudges. I told them I learned from the best. Amy tried the guilt trip about her kids missing their uncle. I said her kids could visit when they turned 18 and could make their own decisions about who they wanted in their lives. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just done. They showed me exactly who they were when I was at my lowest point. Now they can live with that choice while I enjoy my beautiful house that I bought with my own hard work. Some nights I sit on my back porch with a beer, looking at my perfectly mowed lawn, and I smile knowing I did this all by myself.